The Rundown, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check out therundownlive.com. Mike P. Kristan H. The Rundown, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check out therundownlive.com.
Isn't Wi-Fi great? You can browse the web anywhere, coffee shops, airports, libraries. But using public Wi-Fi means that people can spy on you, and it's as easy as, yep, they can access your data at the touch of a button. Seriously, even your internet service provider can see every website you ever go to. Private internet access has got your back. How? Well, it's kind of nerdy, but to put it simply, spies and companies that track you don't like us one bit. We create an encrypted tunnel so that nobody can spy on you. We also provide IP cloaking, which frees you from geographic restrictions when you're traveling. Register today and disappear online, the way it was supposed to be.
What up, guys? We're live here. It is Thursday, February the 6th, live here on the Rundown Live, rundownlive.com. Mike Paczesny, Kristan Harris. It is Thursday, right? We've been getting the day right for a while on this show.
Definitely.
For a while there, Thursday. We didn't know the day, did we?
Yeah. Today's a very anticipated date.
Why are you? We anticipate every day, I think, don't we? No?
Well, yeah, I think that's basically what comes down to is that, mostly Friday more than other days.
Well, yeah, I anticipate. Wait. What is the saying for today? You forgot to say it.
What was it? Thursday is the November of the week.
Thank you. You said it right this time because it is your saying. But anyway, I'm just messing around here, guys. We are live. We're going to be joined with Andrew Demeter of Team Take. He's going to be joining us. A lot of the listeners might already be familiar with Andrew. He's a 16-year-old activist that makes YouTube videos. He's a correspondent now for just about every alternative media outlet, including us as well.
Yeah, we posted his articles as well.
Right, so he's a real cool kid. We'll be talking to him in a few minutes. But before we get into all that, Kristan, we want to talk about the site, articles, sponsors, all that stuff.
Well, sure, yeah. If you guys haven't had a chance to yet, make sure you guys get in front of your computer and go to therundownlive.com where we have the latest and new information. We're big advocates for truth in media, so we just provide the information and let you guys decide what your takeaway is from it. Also, share those articles on Facebook to help spread the message of liberty and the information so it gets out there. Generally, one of the benefits of us working in the radio is we get to interview amazing people, don't we, Mike?
Right. It is awesome. We talk to different people all the time, different stories, different backgrounds, different ages. It's epic.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And so if you guys are looking to support what we do, there's a couple ways you can do that. One of the more popular ways is to check out privateinternetaccess.com when you're at our site. When you check out privateinternetaccess.com and you make a purchase there, part of that purchase helps what we do here. And basically what private internet access is, it allows you to surf the internet anonymously. You can you can check your emails, your banking statements. You can even download anonymously. And not only that, you can bounce all over the world, appear as if your computer's in Japan, and avoid different Reddit bans or video game bans. It's a great tool for liberty if you're a person that posts a lot of news online, and we recommend it. Covers 5 computers, $39.95, and me and Mike use it, and we recommend it very highly. Also, if you guys have a cell phone and you haven't yet, make sure that you guys go to the Google Play App Store, iTunes Store, and the Amazon.com store on your cell phone, one of the 3 if you have any of them, and download the Rundown Live app. It's free. It's 3 words, the Rundown and Live. And when you download that, you can listen to our past episodes. You can download your favorite ones and listen to them at your convenience. If to put you to sleep at night, you can shove it under your pillow and listen to me and Mike and let us talk you to sleep. So also we're on Stitcher, and you can listen to us live on TuneIn. That's a free app on your cell phone. And for those people who aren't as advanced, excuse me, you guys can call us here for a good time at 231-460-1035, and that's the Rundown Live all day long on your cell phone. And if you got free minutes, you can just plug right into your car and listen away.
Right, so that's like an awesome amount of ways to listen to us. I'd say TuneIn is my favorite way over the mobile app, if you're out and about, at school, at work,
and
wherever.
you get the other shows on Truth Broadcasting
Right.
Network when you got the TuneIn app. You just don't get the rundown. Oh, and there's some great shows. We support everyone on there. All their views might not be mine and Mike's, but we do support their end game, and that's the fight for liberty and to say and choose what you want and the freedom to be able to do so.
Right, and we're all for the truth. Speaking of the truth, we have an interesting article up on the site that you wrote about the elongated skulls, and I know we've had Klaus Dana and Bruce Fenton and these kind of guys on, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the Paracas skull with the elongated head, they differ from the ones that you see in the Aztec where they used cranial deformation. Basically, these were one slate skulls, and they were tested finally for DNA. They're about 25% larger than our standard skull, and they're longer, and they're about 60% heavier on average, they say, than a standard human. Basically, when they tested them, the DNA came back on the peer group studies saying that it was not human, but as a human-like creature, and it was very distant from Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, and basically, if you wouldn't be able to reproduce with them or interbreed with humans because their DNA was so different. So it's a intellectual humanoid species, not human. So whether or not 93% of the Earth has been destroyed or life on it has been destroyed, who knows if it was a past life that was here? Who knows if they built the pyramids? Mike, who knows?
And somebody in the chat brings up an interesting point. You've seen the Ripley's Believe It or Not, where the people elongate their necks with the rings and stuff. Do we have enough information that this wasn't like somebody tying a band around their head?
Yes. Actually,
no. Well, we don't have to get on. We don't have enough time, Kristan.
Well, you check out the article. The information on why it's different is all in the article. And if you need more information, you can email me and we can discuss it.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about it. Right?
We like chatting.
We're gonna have guests
we might
on
have Brian Forrester, the guy who was working and provided these tests, will be hopefully.
So we'll get into a lot more detail, and make sure you check out the firefighter responding to the crash, detained by police. That's just another example of the usual behavior that we witness from the police state. But so when it comes to Andrew Demeter, man, this kid is pretty epic, man. He's fitting right into our epic week because this is a young guy. He's not necessarily like we're more seasoned individuals. We've been around. We were alive pre 9/11. We were conscious. The internet was not really existing when we were children, so things are a lot different. Information.
He's got the Obama tie on there in the picture.
Oh, I wonder if he does have the silk Obama tie.
That's what it looks like.
No. But I do want to mention we do have Andrew Demeter on the air with us. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing great, Mike. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Kristan's making fun of your Obama tie because he says Obama always wears the same blue tie every time.
Yeah, in every picture he's got that same silk-looking tie.
Well, for that part of the documentary, it was part of the whole color scheme that C-SPAN was doing. So I really pay attention to detail and try to key in on the specifics.
Well, that is true from the archive of your work, man. You've done a lot of great things over the past year. And, I don't remember exactly where I first saw you or where I started seeing you, if it was like just randomly on Facebook or whatnot. But, since that point, you've put out a lot of excellent work, man. So I want to introduce you to the people that may not know Andrew Demeter, may not know, why it is you're doing what you're doing. And in your situation, you're a younger guy. You're only 16 years old, still in high school, and you're taking on some things that most people don't even want to mess with yet. So that's definitely respectable.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. And yeah, like you said, a lot of people don't want to encounter these issues because more often than not, ignorance is bliss to them. And if they don't acknowledge it, they don't think it affects them, why would they bother wasting their time?
Right, exactly. So that being said, why don't you kind of walk us through what got you motivated and involved into these topics that are almost frowned upon by, the mainstream crowd, the average folk out there. You talk about GMOs and things of that nature. That's not exactly mainstream viewpoints at this point. So what got you exposed to these beliefs and what kind of motivated you to make YouTube videos and things like that?
Well, that's a really tough question, but I've mentioned this on multiple other interviews. Really what started the whole process of my awakening, as many like to call it, was watching Jesse Ventura and his conspiracy theory TV show, and now he's on Aura TV doing great things and everything. But the first conspiracy that I saw on his show was the Denver airport, and that really got me questioning the official narratives on things. Then that escalated to question 9/11. One of my friends actually showed me all these conspiracies about 9/11, so that really planted the seeds in my mind to investigate these issues. And from there, I also had an interest in video production from a young age, and by combining both of those and fusing them together, it really led to where I'm at right now.
For our listeners out there who don't know what he's talking about, Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theory had an episode where they had Illuminati symbolism and Freemason symbolism at the Denver airport, showing like the world being destroyed and complete like devastation. And it's rumored to have a huge fortress underneath there built in. And basically, we've had Tyrell on the show. He appeared in the third season. And it goes into basically a lot of these government conspiracies that they cover are real. So they had some problems there. But yeah, that's very amazing how a show like that and the importance of what you do with the camera and behind it and the activism behind it and how many people can reach. It's invaluable, you know, it's important. So
well, thanks. And a thing worth mentioning too is that Jesse Ventura's show Conspiracy Theory, as you mentioned, it also faced a lot of censorship, and that really looks into or emphasizes on the censorship that the mainstream media is facing, or the alternative media actually. And he did an episode on the TSA, and that was actually banned from TV, and also some other episodes he did. I'm not sure specifically.
The FEMA camp one, they deleted it out of people's DVRs.
That's the first time thing, right? That was the first time they've had to do that.
They went to people's DVRs and deleted it. That's crazy. The police state one.
Yeah, but I think that's also where the alternative media really comes into play, and the power that the advent of the internet with this social activism has, because now people can go out with simply a cell phone, no need for professional gear, and while live streaming on any type of the services out there, they can have that recorded and stored in the cloud. And I think people and that type of system is really invaluable in the whole fight for freedom.
Right, it makes anybody feel as if they can just stand up and do something. We saw an example of it at the Super Bowl. That's a more extreme example, but you know, just the average guy getting out his cell phone and live streaming, say, a police traffic stop or a protest, these type of things, you know, 20 years ago that wasn't going on. Whether it was technology or you know, people just weren't doing it, you didn't have the cloud, that's for sure. So I mean, that instant ability to put information directly online with no filter, that's provided some instant access, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it's really worth mentioning that people are empowered, because so often nowadays we're faced with this notion that we're powerless against the bureaucrats in Washington, when truthfully, at the power of our fingertips, we have this technology that can really change the world. And we've obviously seen the effectiveness of it in cases such as police brutality. Personally, I've interviewed a mother whose son was victimized by police brutality in Miami. That story was Tremaine McMillian in Miami. And truly just having that evidence with the cell phone, with whatever technology you have on hand, it's really just so powerful now.
And definitely, and I have to say that, man, you're really well spoken for a younger guy as well. You're really articulate, and that's something that, you know, is something people look to. They want professionalism. They want somebody who's well put together. And at such a young age, when I was 16, I had long hair, and I didn't 9/11 hadn't even happened yet, and you know,
I had green hair.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, what drove you to this crowd of individuals at such a young age? I mean, there had to have been something that really irked you, and you just had to start researching, and it drew you in somehow.
Well, I really don't think at first it was something that really frustrated me necessarily, but I did begin questioning these issues, and ultimately what happened was I started investigating these issues, and then from there, it really just escalated to where I'm at now. And sorry, I just completely went off a rant. Could you repeat the question? I apologize.
Well,
After you
do that all the time. Don't take it personally.
Yeah, exactly. We do that all the time. No, but I just was wondering if there was like a specific issue that made you like, you know what, this is like, say for me it was 9/11 because it happened at literally around the same age that you're at right now. But it was kind of buried, like we got caught in the war drums. So I didn't come back to it till a few years later. So I was just wondering if there was an incident that took place that really was like a wake-up call, or was it just like GMOs in general and bad health and the economic system and the Federal Reserve? I just wondered if something like that was the Kickstarter.
Yeah, I think it was actually an incremental process, but really what got me going was I was just investigating all these issues, and it was incremental, like I said, but also I've kind of been, sorry, just went on another rant, I couldn't remember what I was thinking, but I've always been kind of the introvert of the group, and I think by not necessarily going out on Friday nights, partying, going to sports events for school or whatever, I think that really gave me the opportunity to kind of surf the web, look through YouTube videos, and whether you're intentionally searching for what you end up finding or not on the internet, it's really powerful where you can end up. And I think possibly being the introvert of the group, or the lack thereof, I think that actually led me to kind of introspection, and that really led to my activism.
Yeah, what's the deal with everyone? Everyone is just way too square nowadays. It's like they're all cookie cut, and if you think outside the box, you're a conspiracy theorist, because nothing outside the box exists. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the typical high school girl, and I'm sure there's a mold for men as well, but it's yoga pants, Starbucks, iPhones, and that's pretty much the stereotypical mold. Obviously, I don't mean to generalize, but people are so preoccupied, especially even with the mainstream trivium out there, this reality TV. Sometimes I see friends out there posting all this stuff on social media of reality TV. Specifically, like a week or two ago, I saw some girl on Instagram post this video of whatever celebrity out there like slapping someone else on some bachelor show or who knows, and they're like, oh, this is so terrible, how can they do that? It's like, have you ever heard of editing sound effects? Like, it's all fake, and it's so blatant, especially when you look into some of these issues like I've investigated. It's just like the whole scaffolding of this mirage just falls right down.
Andrew, you mentioned education. Have you felt the Common Core vice script? What's your opinion on Common Core, and how are you seeing it in your school?
Honestly, I can't speak too much on behalf of Common Core because I haven't investigated it all that much.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I have, but education on the other hand too, that's a really important issue. And my main stance on it is that in other nations, other countries, people are learning actual things about their survival. But here in the United States, when we're supposed to be self-sufficient, that's exactly how the elite, or whoever you want to blame, wants it, because they see if we go to school, if we memorize these random facts that aren't going to really help us down the road, depending on our niche career, they find it that if we study all this stuff and then see that kind of this mold that we're expected to go through, and that involves college, we're already indebted, and then we have to pretty much be a work slave for the rest of our lives. So school, it's really hard being a high school student, going to school every day, trying to shatter this paradigm and break people's minds and see or unveil the true illusion that education or schooling in general really is. And also it's worth mentioning that in my mind, schooling and education are two completely different things. Schooling is simply memorizing facts and going through all the motions of school to get your diploma required by the state, and education is actually looking into things that you want to learn about and not simply memorize for a test or a quiz or to pass a state exam.
Right, exactly. And see, it's all about the regurgitation. Exactly. You get all the facts memorized, you get your fancy degree, then you can have your slave job and you never ask any more questions. You get your paycheck, everybody's happy. You pay taxes, everything's good. But the second you want to make your own plan, you start making waves and making videos about GMOs, people are like, whoa, wait a minute, we don't know about this. This guy's fringe, something's going on here. He doesn't want to sell out to corporate interests, which is, something that's going to end up happening. I mean, with you, man, you mentioned the video production. You have made some very well done videos on your YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/teentake, if you guys aren't subscribed already. But you've covered many, many different issues. I don't know if you want to kind of briefly go over maybe some of the more recognizable issues, and then we'll talk about the GMO video, the recent one.
Yeah, sure. So to just name off a movie credits list of them, I've investigated GMOs, the Federal Reserve, the NDAA, the TSA, the CIA, Operation Mockingbird, what else? MK Ultra. So just a whole slew of issues, really. I think I have 30 to 40 videos in total, but are there any specific of those issues that you want me to talk about?
Well, no, go ahead, Kristan.
Oh, I was going to say Operation Mockingbird. If people out there don't know this, that's a very important one for people to be aware of. The government is infiltrating internet websites, and they just spend all day arguing, no matter how irrational their viewpoint, government policy in favor of the government. They're paid CIA agents sitting there to argue with you so that you think the government's doing a good job. Now, that's a waste of tax money if I've ever heard. If they're not doing a good job, they need to hear it. They shouldn't have people trying to manipulate our thoughts with faulty logic.
Doesn't it include media aspects as well? What were you going to say?
Yeah,
I can lie to you.
I can't remember the exact years that Mockingbird was started. I want to say the 50s, but I'm not entirely sure on that. But yeah, essentially, Operation Mockingbird funds or finances from the Marshall Plan to restore Europe's economy. Those were siphoned by the CIA to pretty much bribe journalists, and I can't recall the specific news agencies, but a ton of mainstream organizations as we know now, and they pretty much bribed those journalists to write or pretty much copy and paste on paper what the administration at the time had written. So it's absolutely ludicrous, and to think that, oh, this doesn't exist now, in my mind, is completely insane.
Well, yeah, they had to stop the president from doing his own press conferences when that got to be too much. So now they have the secretary going out there. And, it's just controlled. It's always been controlled. And then we look at the news here. And is the news even news, or is it just entertainment? When you turn on the news, you see Bieber and Miley Cyrus and, legalized marijuana and how many people died. It's not really news. You're entertained by this. So people have lost touch. Go ahead.
Yeah, Comedy Central is the source of information because it's satire, and now the mainstream media is being rendered obsolete by alternative journalism and actual news, not simply Entertainment Tonight disguised as some local or national news affiliate.
Right, and I did want to also go back to the video production because I've worked a lot with video editing and things like that, and also, man, at such a young age, you have a good skill with that. So I mean, just the amount of work that have gone into some of these videos that I've seen, I remember you telling me months ago that you worked 16 hours on a background image or something like that, and I was just like, wow, that's really detail related. You really want to make sure that you're putting out a good product, and it turns out really well, which leads me to the GMO mini documentary you just made, which is was it a C-SPAN contest, or what was the story exactly with that?
Yeah, before I go into that real quick, I do want to mention that when you're talking about the effort that I put in and everything, the attention to detail, I personally think it's super important to pay attention to detail, or at least present the content appropriately, or make it attractive, because as with food, I mean, it all depends on presentation. You can have the best information out there, but if it's just in black and white and it looks unattractive, people aren't going to be enticed towards it. So in a sense, you almost have to design attractive propaganda, if you will, and I use that term loosely. But yeah, going back to the C-SPAN contest, yes, that was a contest for C-SPAN called Student Cam. It's an annual video competition where high school students and grade school students as well have the opportunity to create, or produce rather, a 5 to 7 minute documentary on any type of issue that relates to the government. This year specifically, the prompt was, if you could, or if Congress could address one thing in 2014, what would that issue be? Something to that effect. So yeah, and in short, I chose GMOs.
Yeah, and it was actually a really well put together video. You spoke with professors, people in some type, I don't know if it was a regular grocery store or some type of organic store, but you were just speaking with regular individuals, professionals, and it really, I believe you spoke with a farmer, so it gave you a good perspective of different people's opinions, but the overall consensus was GMOs are not going to be a good thing here in the near future.
Well, yeah, that was one of the hardest parts really about the contest, because having the personal bias against GMOs that I do, and for C-SPAN, since they're all about promoting objectivity and unbiased news, then that really kind of complicated everything. But it was a really good journalistic skill to work with, because so often on my channel I'm just used to firing off the rhetoric and everything, but to actually investigate this issue of genetically modified organisms from an objective lens, kind of zooming out from the big picture and personal opinions, it was actually really helpful. And also, when you were talking about all the people I interviewed, it's worth mentioning that I actually did get in contact with, surprisingly, a biotechnologist from the USDA, and I interviewed her via Skype, but unfortunately, it was actually funny when I interviewed her, because she had this, because I sent her the questions ahead of time. That was really the only condition upon which she would agree to do the interview. And throughout the whole interview, she was looking down at this paper, probably written by her higher-ups and stuff. So it was just crazy, and I ended up, unfortunately, not using any of the video or the interview that we recorded, primarily because she stuttered a lot and really didn't answer any of the questions that I asked. But yeah, so it was actually a difficult process editing the whole video too, because I gathered some 50+ hours worth of footage and interviews and everything. So it was a really long process, in short.
And for those that don't know, I mean, just editing videos alone, not even necessarily a well put together video, is a time consuming process. And when you're putting in like the B-roll footage, and when you're talking about like harvesting and you got like the corn in the background, man, people take that for granted. You know what I mean? They don't realize how much goes into that, and you're looking for the clips and all this stuff, and it turns into like a 1-minute piece of the video, and you could have searched for some of this stuff for days. It's kind of crazy how it works.
Yeah, it's really insane to see the amount of time between, or the ratio rather, between the time that you film and the time of the final edited product. Like I said, I had probably some 50 hours worth of interview footage and my own footage from the studio clips that I recorded. The B-roll I actually bought online, the majority of it, because you gotta love copyrights and everything. But yeah,
it was high quality though.
Well, thank you. But even that, the one I interviewed the one grocer, John Zagara, from a local marketplace, and my friend and I, because a friend of mine, Andrew, also named Andrew, he helped out as well with lighting and stuff. You could see his name in the credits. So he actually assisted in some of that. But even for that grocer alone, the total interview for that lasted about 2.5 hours, and we also went around the store afterwards to get some B-roll and everything, and setup time as well. And all that effort, all that time, not even taking into account transportation and scheduling and everything, and writing up the interview questions too, but we were there for like 3 hours, and all of that culminated in a 10, maybe 5-second clip of the one clip that he had in that. So I would in the future though like to reorganize all the clips that I did capture and make possibly a director's cut that's maybe a full length or miniature documentary as opposed to the micro documentary that it currently is.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to describe it, because a mini documentary is even still like 20 minutes. You have like a nice 10-minute video that's just really quick and hard hitting, which I'm sure it was more to fit the contest, and you know, you got to get it across. But you know, you're doing good. You're doing good work, man. And you know, for a time here, there was a dip in alternative media. It seemed like you know, people weren't getting the proper amount of attention, and you know, people aren't necessarily sharing each other's articles. But I've seen here lately that people are starting to get more together again. I don't know what's causing it. I don't know if it's the Super Bowl 9/11 mic grab or what, but maybe
we got to pull together. Is that
right.
what it
I
is?
think
We gotta
people are
work
just
together.
starting to realize that, and that was leading me to how you basically are a correspondent with just about every news outlet in the alternative media. I'm talking
Except CNN.
Yeah. Well, the alternative media alone, I was talking about InfoWars, Next News. I mean, Press for Truth. All these awesome friends of ours. You've wrote articles for us as well on the police state and the GMO. I believe you wrote another one on a protest. I'm not sure the exact details on it, but I know you've
March Against Monsanto, maybe, or
yeah, maybe it was the March Against Monsanto. Now I'm not positive. I have to look on the archives, but I know you've put out a few with us, and it just shows you like the culture clash and the difference between the average person your age, not to like, you know, put you in some standardized class, but really the average person your age isn't like Andrew Demeter. Let's just be realistic here. I mean, you're making waves that people my age and older couldn't even do, and it's crazy that what is Andrew Demeter going to be like in 10 years? Are you still going to be fighting the good fight? Do you see yourself going to work for like a CNN and, you know, becoming the next Anderson Cooper or something like that?
I don't know. I don't have the crystal ball in front of me, so time will tell. Opportunities arise. That's all I got to say. But when you talk about the disparity between people of your age and people of my age, even though that really didn't sound tactful whatsoever, I think an important part is truly waking up other people. And honestly, I can sit behind my computer and sit in front of the camera all day and promote this activism, but I think also a very important part of fighting the good fight, as you coin it, is going out and talking to other people and spreading the word. Protests are awesome. Localizing events like the March Against Monsanto in over 250 countries worldwide or something like that. You think that the issues that we deal with are so fringe, but truthfully, more people than you really know, even your neighbors probably, are actually into this stuff. So going out, protesting. Also, a really empowering thing that I've done is do some interviews in the GMO documentary, We the People Genetically Modified specifically. I went to a local market and interviewed some people there. Surprisingly, they do offer quite a few organic items and everything, or products rather. So some people were actually aware, and that was awesome to connect with people who were also fighting the same fight. And then last summer, actually, I went to the beach and did some interviews on MK Ultra. A ton of people were completely brainwashed and had no idea, and were like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll agree with you. You sound legit." But just going out and finding, even if they don't agree with you, human interaction is just amazing. And like I said, you can sit behind the computer, you can talk to people through Facebook and other mediums of social media, but ultimately going out, talking to other people, connecting with their souls, it's just truly empowering.
Right, I couldn't agree more. And I mean, even at these events, if you're talking to people that you agree with or not agree with, it seems like the people you agree with, you'll form bonds with, and you'll become friends with them for life, it seems. And then even if you don't become friends with some of these people, you'll maybe influence some of them to go home and research a certain issue, or maybe one thing you said just clicked in their mind, and you know, they'll go home and just start investigating, and you never know what could happen after that.
And don't take ridicule personally, because that's a self-defense mechanism. I've always felt that ridicule is the best defense for those not clever enough to defend their own theory. You know, so don't take it personally. People get frustrated. You know, anyone that's willing to dismiss it right away, they'll hear it somewhere else. We mention that all the time. So plant those seeds. It's very important.
Yeah, I think planting the seeds is essential to waking people up because even, like you said, if people don't agree with you, or even if they do agree with you, just opening up things to public discourse is important because obviously, evidently, as we've seen, the mainstream media fails to cover issues such as GMOs, the NDAA, the TSA, the NSA, although they kind of covered that, but they call Edward Snowden a traitor and label all these labels on people. So yeah, just a matter of opening up the conversation is crucial.
I was gonna ask, what do your peers think about your internet presence and your credibility as like a alternative news media person?
Oh man, that's a tough question. A lot of them, whether they agree or not, at least the majority of people at my school are aware of my online presence, and some people watch the videos and they don't like them. Other people do and are receptive to the ideas, and they do like them. So like I said, whether they agree or not, it's important that they're at least hearing this information, and then from there they can decide and establish their own viewpoints. So yeah, people at my school, they're definitely divided. I don't know if it's simply because of the viewership that I'm receiving and they're jealous or something like that, or if they just don't like the idea that I'm questioning their opinions and making unorthodox claims. I'm not entirely sure, but a good deal of people are at least receptive to what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I was just imagining, like, if I was to have a YouTube in high school. We didn't even have MySpace yet in high school. We didn't have Facebook.
Folded notes, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the edge.
Paper.
So we didn't even have. We barely had internet.
That's terrorism now. Writing things down is an act of terrorism.
And I'm only 28, guys. I'm not that old. So I mean, it shows you how much things have just changed in that short period of time. I mean, along with legislation and things like spying and the Patriot Act, I mean, just what technology has offered. Now a guy like Andrew Demeter can create a YouTube channel, get 20,000 likes on Facebook, reach the entire world, and meanwhile his school is like not half of them probably don't even know what the hell's going on. What's a GMO? You know what I mean? They don't even know what that is, and they may not be concerned. But the best thing is when other kids go, "Hey, have you seen Andrew's video?" And they're like, "What do you mean? What's this?" And then they play the video, and then they're like, "Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter." They saw it, and that's the best part, because that didn't used to be there. It used to have to be like in the newspaper, and that was uncool. Nobody liked the newspaper kids and stuff, so they always like turned them into airplanes and threw them at them and stuff. But these days the internet generation has become more trollish, so they know if you're too mean, they might come after you. Unless you're anonymous.
Yeah, but the fact that people have this access to information at their fingertips on their cell phones, and the fact that there are social media sites like Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook that make information trending or trendy in whatever case, I think that also attracts people, as I mentioned before, presentation to the issue. And also last year in study hall one day, some kid or a group of kids were asking about a video that I had created. So the study hall teacher was curious, and she actually put it up on the smartboard in the front of the room. And people were paying attention, surprisingly, unlike other classes when people just talk over the teacher because they could care less of what he or she is saying because of the trivial information that they're most likely teaching. People were actually interested in what I had to say, whether it's because they know me personally and they're saying, "Oh, well, this is cool information, this is a professional looking video," or something like that, or whether they are interested in the information. But like you said, as long as they're hearing it, as long as their subconscious is storing that information and can go back to that and retrieve that information whenever they may need it, it's really empowering.
Right, and I think you build respect. I think they'll start to respect your opinion, much like the alternative media has done. You build some credibility within the community, just like every aspect of journalism has to do with credibility. Because once you lose that, people don't really care about what you're saying anymore. Once you've put out bad info or don't retract bad information, things like that, that's pretty much the end of it, unless you're like Dallas Goldbug and saying your three people, Alex Jones is Bill Hicks because of the ears.
And that's the other thing is when you're well educated on these issues, when somebody doesn't agree with you, you don't take it personally. You just understand that they don't get it. You know, that being well armed in the mind there and well educated definitely helps to know the statistics and
you may never convince them. You may
with
not. Every fact in front of them.
The sky could be falling, like chemtrails could be in the sky, and you could show it to them and they still won't believe you.
Those are contrails, Kristan.
Yeah, I know.
But what was I gonna say? Oh man, I'm not exactly sure. Continue whatever.
Well, the chemtrail issue is interesting. We have had Mike Murphy on, and that's one of those. Yeah, that's one of those hot button issues where even today I was joking with Andrew before we were live on the air about burning snow, and it's just like things exist like geoengineering, but the problem is people get the wrong idea a lot of times about certain things, and they'll jump on information that hasn't been fully vetted and they'll just go with it. And sometimes you really have to investigate things a little further before you just start saying, oh, this is the way it is, it has to be this way. But then you brought up an interesting point, Andrew, when you said, just because you share something doesn't necessarily mean you endorse it, like, oh, I shared it, so that means you wrote it. That's not necessarily true.
Exactly, and this is what I was going to say is whether people agree with you or not, going back to that idea real briefly, that's all part of the war on consciousness as well. When you awaken yourself to these issues, the other half of the battle is unlocking your own mind, not only with the information presented to you, but also knowing that you can't convince everybody, and there's always going to be that minority or majority that don't agree with you for whatever reason. So I think that's really important, and we really have to agree in some areas to disagree.
Right, and that's the best thing about like a platform like this that we've developed. We have people on all the time that we don't necessarily agree with fully and may say controversial things, but the best thing is they're given this platform so they can say what they need to say, and
we can find the issues we all agree on.
Well, not only that, but the people that are listening out there, they're able to take the issues and investigate them themselves. We're not saying that Andrew Demeter is right or wrong, or David Dees or whoever's on the show. It's more about look at these individuals who are doing things in the world. And, what can you take from their activities that are positive? What can you learn from this individual? Why do you think they're on the show? Why would, Mike have this person on the show? Obviously, they're doing something, you know what I mean? So that's something cool. People really need to see that, and I hope that they are, because there's a lot of people that are just overlooked. And I'm not saying you, Andrew, I'm just saying people that are out there putting together videos and news reports, they're not getting any views. Their websites aren't getting any hits. Do not let that discourage you, because the right people will see you if you're putting out the right information. Do you believe that?
Yeah, it's truly the key to success in the online realm, or biosphere, if that's the right term for it, is to network with other people. That's so crucial. I can't emphasize that enough. That's how I got in contact with you, people at InfoWars, Dan Dix of Press for Truth, Luke Rudkowski of We Are Change. It's so crucial to network, either through Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media avenue you have to network. It's essential if you're going to be spreading content. And also, real briefly, going back to the idea of social media and the snow conspiracy, I think that that's kind of one of the drawbacks or cons that is presented with social media, and that kind of also adversely makes it volatile while it is a really easy access to information. Because just like you said, because something is shared, it doesn't mean that it's true. And even if it's still in the realm of the truth movement that we're in, you still need to double check and fact check everything that's presented.
How many people do you think became aware of chemtrails just because the people were being dumb and trying to melt snow? Even though it didn't work and it wasn't what people thought it was, do you think that they investigated that chemtrails may have caused this? It could create awareness, though, at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of the double-sided coin here. And yeah, I know even local and possibly even national media outlets were covering this, so that does say a lot. Even if the words geoengineering weren't specifically mentioned, those people could go online, search articles, see the term geoengineering, and from there just have a chain reaction, really, of information.
Right, and it seems people made the same argument with the mic grabber, like, oh, this is going to hurt us being able to get in events later down the road and things like that. So yeah, it's always going to be the positive and negative, and hopefully the positive outweighs the negative of all these issues. And going back to what you do with the YouTube channel, the Teen Take, man, I'm hoping this is going to be a lasting thing. I know eventually you'll probably have to move on from Teen Take, but
to Adult Take.
Yes, Adult Take, yes, extremely adult, nightly or something. Do you see yourself ever doing like a podcast similar to this, maybe a daily show, something like that, or even a weekly series, something like that?
Yeah, well, I honestly try to stick with a weekly schedule, but since I created the GMO documentary for the C-SPAN contest and all these other interviews and videos and interviews that I've been trying to do, it really consumes a great deal of my time, not to even mention the whole responsibility or obligation, rather, of high school and all the work that accompanies that. But yeah, I have done podcasts in the past, obviously not on a regular basis, but I really do hope to expand my content, and maybe once in a while I will need to take a hiatus as I have in the past, because not only is the information really depressing and dark most of the time, although there are some rays of light once in a while, but I would like to really elevate my content eventually in whatever way that may happen. I'm not entirely sure, but ideally my goal with Teen Take, originally it was really intended as a time capsule to, in 10, 20 years down the road, look back and see how ridiculous my opinions were, or how I presented the information, whatever. So yeah, I would like to continue this in the long term and see where that leads me.
Yeah, I think it's just going to turn out to be something very productive. I mean, it already has. So, I mean, where you go is definitely going to be something that we follow. And, I didn't necessarily mean in the immediate future, in the next couple months here, starting a podcast. But I meant, when you get out of school. Basically, what I'm getting at is I don't want Andrew Demeter to fall off here when you get out of high school and then go join Skull and Bones and work, go to Yale and...
join the Army.
Yeah, I don't want you to join 322, man, and, do all that stuff, because you're a smart, good kid, and you're going to do good things if you stay on our side. I'm a little worried.
Well, I can't assure you. No. No, my plan is to stay with this movement. So far, I love where it's gotten me, and I'm just really looking forward to the future. I just love the support that I get, for the most part. There's always the dissenting voices of the dissenter. But yeah, it's taken me to great lengths so far, and I can't say that I'm dissatisfied with any of the work or any of the opportunities that I've encountered.
There's a lot of opportunities in liberty. It's a very untapped market, and it's a very popular. Freedom is popular. We've heard Ron Paul say that in the past, and everyone loves freedom. Let's be honest, if
freedom and honesty, that'll
choose
get you
between
places.
Freedom and danger and living safe and in a prison. I think most people would pick the danger, Mike.
Right.
Well, I don't know. You've seen with the NSA revelations, people are saying, "Oh, well, I have nothing to hide." The NSA can tap into my webcam and do whatever. It's insane.
If you film them in the street, they freak out. Oh, what are you doing with that video? What are you doing with that video? Well, you don't care.
You need a press pass to film on the streets. You don't have a First Amendment or ridiculous
I've heard that
things.
so many times. I've had police tell me on the street that I couldn't film, and it's like, I'm not even going to argue with you about this. It's ridiculous. Well, I was detained, though, so, it happens. It happens. But anyway, Andrew, I want people to make sure they go check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/Teen Take. You have a YouTube channel, YouTube/Teen Take. Do you have a website?
I do not have a website yet. I don't know at this point what purpose it would serve, primarily because I don't write articles on a regular basis or anything. It would be nice to unify my content, but right now I don't have a website, but maybe in the future.
And anytime you want to put out more information, we'll always be willing to post it, any articles, things like that. I know you have a lot of friends in alternative media, but every megaphone, just amplifies it. So it's good to get it out there. More people see it, gets more awareness out there. So if there's not anything else, Andrew, I appreciate your time tonight, man. If there is there anywhere you want people to go or anything like that other than the Facebook, anything else? Oh, I did want to mention the commercial. The commercial. What's up with that commercial you mentioned?
Yes, this is unpolitical, if that's the proper term, just tidbit of my life and my busyness. I'm also working on the C-SPAN contest was one of the contests I'm working on. I'm also working on a contest about water scarcity. That's going to be a 60-second animation I'm working on. And also I am working in conjunction, well, it's also a contest, so I wouldn't necessarily say I'm working in conjunction with the Discovery Channel, but I am also working on a 60-second commercial for the Discovery Channel that's a contest, and the grand prize for the winner is 15 grand. So that'd be nice. But then again, it's just Monopoly money, so...
Yeah, but it can help you out, definitely. These films and the B-roll, that costs money, man. It's not cheap out there. So, if you can get anything back, it helps out.
Exactly. And that's, I think, all I wanted to say, other than the fact that hopefully I'm about to, in a few minutes, go interview the 9/11 truther who hijacked the mic at the Super Bowl MVP press conference, Matt Mills.
Right, Matt
we
Mills
had
is
him
an
on
awesome
earlier.
guy. Right, yes, definitely a cool guy, good friend of ours. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be an interesting
Exciting.
interview. Yeah, definitely. So Andrew Demeter, Teen Take. You guys check it out on Facebook, YouTube. I'm sure you'll be seeing Andrew around for a long time, and you might even see him again on our site. I'm sure you will. So
Yeah,
Andrew
I'm supposed
Demeter.
to be on Alex Jones, hopefully.
Oh no, yeah, that's
coming-
right. I didn't mean to forget about that.
Oh,
I
no
saw
problem.
you posted that you're going to be on like the nightly news, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure which segment. It's going to be with Leanne McAdoo, I believe, not the Alex Jones himself.
Hook it up with their
but-
number. No, I'm just kidding.
Go shooting with her. Oh wait, you're gonna be Skyping in, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well you can still get her number.
Mike.
All right, guys. I'm just messing around. She's not listening anyway. Well, we hope anyway. We know the Infowars people like to hang out with us. But Andrew Demeter, you take it easy, man. Have a good night. All right.
Hey, you have a
so
good one,
much.
Andrew.
Keep searching for the truth.
Awesome. Take it easy. So there goes Andrew Demeter, just a fun kid. If only I was like that when I was 16, bro. I would have got so much more done.
We were too busy having fun. We actually did things though as a kids. We built like tree forts and
Yeah,
shot each other BB guns and
yeah, it's just like, eventually I was going to come across this information, and I guess it just happens when it happens. Certain people are exposed to it at certain times, and it's just meant to be. And Andrew Demeter, he had skills in video editing. He's a well-spoken, articulate guy. He makes us look crappy, you know what I mean? So he's got that good news voice, well-educated kid at 16. I mean, this guy is gonna be a cool kid. You're gonna be seeing him around for a long time. That's why I was worried. I wanted to make sure he wasn't gonna be the next CIA Anderson Cooper wearing Masonic pins on national television talking
Right.
about there was no inside job. What are you talking about?
GMOs are good for you. Take the vaccines.
Oh, jeez. But, it's just good to stay in touch with our friends and people that have helped us out. So, guys, again, go check out Andrew Demeter. So what's up here in the last few minutes? We do have Hardcore Harry coming up next live on Truth Broadcast Network. He was on actually beforehand. He's going to be on again live next, followed by Corey Washington live, the Average Liberator. That's 3 live shows in a row. Technically 4 if you counted Harry's first show, but anyway.
Tomorrow we have Chad Peace from End Partisanship. So if you guys want to know about getting third parties into the debates in the local community and nationally, basically they strive to be able to allow third party candidates to get in debate, which I think is important even as a Republican myself because it forces the 2 big parties to
You're a
pick up issues.
Republican? I forgot
Well,
about
no,
that.
membership wise.
I'm just kidding. But
I'm a libertarian.
yeah, it'll be a good talk, and it's always fun on Friday, guys. And then we got a busy week next week again, and then we just stay at it here at the Rundown. So make sure you guys go over to the site rundownlive.com. You check out the sponsors, private internet access, download the app. You can listen all weekend on TuneIn. We always have, Mark Howitt's show and Derek Rose on the weekend. Hopefully we get more broadcasters on Truth Broadcast. You guys can always talk to Hardcore Harry. He can set you up. Don't forget about FPRN Radio, 12 a.m. Central, 1 a.m. Eastern, the Encore. That's also broadcast on TuneIn via FPRN Radio. So, if you guys aren't listening to the Rundown Live yet, what the hell is wrong with you?
Download the apps. They're awesome. They're free. You can listen to us at your convenience. There's no better way. Look at your cell phone. Go to the App Store, and it's free, and it's only like 2 megabytes. Don't worry about storage space. It's awesome. Go get it. Download it.
And Harry says he's not live, guys, so no Hardcore Harry, but Corey Washington will be live at 11. Anything else, Kristan? Otherwise, we're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, make sure you guys, if you're looking to support what we do, check out Private Internet Access, and we're taking donations via PayPal and Bitcoin as a verbal disaster. PayPal and Bitcoin. Make sure if you guys want to donate, we are accepting those to support what we do. If there's guests that you want to see in the show, email Kristan at therundownlive.com, or Mike, there's a suggestion tip box on our website. Also, if you have any news tips, email us at showtips@therundownlive.com. We welcome those too. So make sure you guys spread the word of liberty. Thanks a bunch, and you guys stay classy in Milwaukee and the rest of the world too. We love you guys in the chat room. Tune in, and that's about it. You guys have a good night.
Love you guys. We're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. Rundownlive.com. A bunch of new articles up.
Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check out therundownlive.com. Mike P. Kristan H. The Rundown, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check out therundownlive.com.